Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and y'all know I gotta talk about the disaster situation over at Sony right now. Sony is an absolute clown show. I know that there are a lot of hardcore fans of Sony. I've been a PlayStation guy all my life. My first console was a PlayStation 1. I've had every single PlayStation console since then. I bought the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 on day one. The PS3, PS2, PS1, like, that was a little bit before I could actually get a console day one, you know what I'm saying? But I'm probably as big of a PlayStation fan as they come, at least historically. I've played every single, I want to say, like, major PlayStation release title over the last, I don't know how many years. I would like to think I'm a big fan, and that's why the story about their live service push upsets me so much, because I don't care about situations like, oh, the random publisher over here is falling apart or Microsoft not doing that great, because at this point that has become my expectation. Sony, my expectation isn't that. I was online at a time and talking to people at a time where PlayStation First Party was absolutely heralded as an elite publisher as far as these single-player narrative-driven games, and I don't know who made the decision, whether it be Jim Ryan, whether Herman Hulst perpetuated that. I want to say something like that'll get me, like, actually kicked off YouTube, but let's not go into that direction. But I don't know who perpetuated that nonsense. But now the chickens are coming home to roost, or whatever this saying is, because Concord was an abject failure, an absolute abomination, quite possibly one of the biggest failures in gaming history. Now they have canceled 2 more first-party PlayStation titles, these being the game that Sony Bend Studio has had in development for the last 6 years. That is the development studio behind Days Gone, as well as the studio Bluepoint that did the Demon's Souls remake. Hopefully we get the Demon's Souls remake at the very least on PC soon, but that game is no longer more. On top of that, the Bluepoint live service game was supposed to be a God of War multiplayer game. Like, what is good with Sony? How can you be this out of touch? This is just insultingly out of touch, and a level of greed and chasing the live service bag that you really can't say anything more than, y'all are a bunch of dumb Fs. That's what it comes down to, and it's infuriating because game development cycles have gone so long. So Bend Studio has literally been twiddling their thumbs doing nothing. I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch. They've been working on this live service game that ultimately 6 years gone with the wind. All of these people that wanted Days Gone 2, y'all be writing in the comment sections, filling out petitions to get Days Gone 2. What are you getting instead? A live service game, because Sony was so greedy and they needed that live service bag desperately that they won't give you a sequel on a game that needed a sequel, and they're gonna end up canceling it anyway. And now Bend Studio, the next time they put out a game, probably gonna be 2030, because that's how long development cycles are. Bluepoint Studios, probably 2030 for their next game, because that's how long development cycles are, which would be 11 and 10 years respectively for those studios to put out games because of Sony's incredible level of incompetence. They had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, but 12 live service games in development concurrently. Screw what brought us to the dance. Y'all want a Gravity Rush 3? The core PlayStation audience wants a Gravity Rush 3. They want a Days Gone 2. They want a Bloodborne remake. How about this middle finger to all of you? We want that Fortnite skin money. Y'all want a new Killzone. Let's get this out of the way. You want a new Killzone? Well, guess what? That Killzone IP, that's not going to resonate with our audience. I don't think they're going to get invested into Killzone as an IP. What are they going to get invested into? What is the current day audience going to get invested into where they're going to get attached to the characters? They're going to emotionally be moved by the characters. They thought it was the heroes from Concord. This is how out of touch Sony is. And yes, they're not outright saying this, but put 2 and 2 together. That's what they thought. Herman Hulst, Jim Ryan, I don't know who the hell looked at Concord and they're like, man, we're making something really special here. These heroes, we're going to be able to tell stories about them for years and years. We're going to be able to sell our fans these skins for these characters because these are the characters that we know our audience are just gonna get emotionally moved by. They're gonna be able to identify with these characters. Get the F out of here! I cannot believe, like, I am saying this with a little bit of, sarcasm, but not really. Not really. That is what Sony thought. They thought, no kill zone for you, no resistance for you, Concord, baby. How can you be this inept? How can you be this out of touch? And this is something that goes back to Sony not having any competition, because I really do believe that is one of the major reasons. Look, those single-player games in a vacuum, they sell fairly well. Days Gone, Spider-Man 2, God of War, they all sell fairly well, but the real tool of those games are to draw people into the PlayStation ecosystem, and once you're invested into that ecosystem, now they're passively making money off of you on third-party game sales that they didn't even have to develop. They're making money off of you on PlayStation Plus subscriptions and so on and so forth. That's really the benefit of those exclusives. Sure, selling 11 million copies of Spider-Man 2 is great, but building that ecosystem and drawing people into that ecosystem is a big tool that those exclusives offer. Well, what happens when that ecosystem is established? What happens if there's no competition drawing people into a different ecosystem? Well, you don't have as much pressure to do those big first-party narrative-driven single-player games that your core audience wants. Your core audience, they don't have another option. Xbox is cooked, so they're just chilling on PlayStation. This is why not having any direct competition is so bad, because if there was direct competition, I don't think Sony would be as aggressively taking these risks on live service games. And if they did aggressively take these risks on live service games, at the very least, there would be true consequence. And when you have a blunder this big, when you are this incompetent and this out of touch, you deserve consequence. I'm not calling for people to lose their jobs, but you absolutely should lose market share, and they're not going to lose that. They're not actually going to be punished for making a misplay this hard. In fact, what 2025 is going to be a year that's rather interesting, where Microsoft and the Xbox publishing arm are probably going to be releasing more games on PlayStation than PlayStation releases on PlayStation. So yeah, PlayStation's got nothing coming out, but at least we got Microsoft releasing their games. I wish Microsoft didn't release their games on PlayStation. PlayStation doesn't deserve the Halo. They don't deserve Gears of War. I wish Microsoft would go back to the route of their games day one, Xbox and PC, no PlayStation release. And sure, I would want more people to play these great games, but you know what I want more than people to be able to play all of these games? I want a healthy, competitive environment. That's what I want. That is more important than Halo or Gears being available on PlayStation, because if we destroy competition, if we eliminate competition, that is so much worse than, in a vacuum. Okay, Halo's on PlayStation, that's great, but like, ultimately, you're dwindling that competition even more and more, and then PlayStation's just gonna have free reign to do whatever the hell they want, and nobody wants that. I know this is more so centric on PC, this channel is, but this is such a big story, and I feel I wondered for so many years, what was Bluepoint working on? What was Ben Studio working on? Just both of them cooked for half a decade on live service trash is so insane. And then you look at Naughty Dog canceling Last of Us Factions, and I'm sorry, that Intergalactic game I think is going to be a disaster, and I might be wrong on that, but I think that game is going to be terrible as well. But Intergalactic I don't think is going to do very well for a wide variety of reasons, but we'll see, I sure see a lot of people pushing back on whenever I talk about Intergalactic. I'm going to be interested to dig up those comments in 2 years, because trust me, I'm petty when it comes to stuff like that. So we'll see. I could be wrong. Maybe Intergalactic will sell a gazillion copies and it'll be really good, and I think critically it'll do very well. Let's see how it's received commercially, since another commercial disaster wouldn't be that great. And yes, these games have never come out. Understand, selling 0 copies makes these games a commercial disaster as well. And for a Naughty Dog title, there's a level of expectation where a couple million copies sold, that's really not what they're looking for. They're looking at Last of Us numbers. And I don't know if Intergalactic is going to pull that, especially with now that the Sony first party, that idea of their games all being bangers and them having this perception of being absolutely elite as a publisher, dead in the water. That is dead, and you are destroying your goodwill. Congrats, PlayStation. You've had so much goodwill for so many years, obliterating that, bazooking that, and torpedoing it. However, it wouldn't matter if you had a direct competitor that was actually trying to be a direct competitor. Unfortunately, you don't right now. Please, somebody get into the console game. Do something well, because I actually think this is your best opportunity ever to take, a share of the market, but we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just really, really disappointed by Sony. They're just so cooked at this point, and it's crazy. The PlayStation 5 generation might be one of the worst console generations and the worst console generation of all time. But, like, they're not even punished because they get free console exclusives like Black Myth Wukong. Like, why is that? Come on, man. Like, I see I'm gonna go on a tangent about something else now, but it's just a shame that Sony can get away with doing all of this nonsense and not really be punished, because that's what you need. You need actions to have consequences. Like when Microsoft tried to go the always online route, what happened then? PlayStation came back, slapped him in the face, and that had dire consequences for Microsoft. PlayStation just isn't going to feel that without a direct competitor to give them the consequences. What they're going to get is the direct competitor bringing their games over onto their platform. But that's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, interested to hear from you guys. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.